Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Spotlight. And today we are in the Fintech Club, and now I'm going to understand about the BusinessNext company, what they do, how they helping in the fintech industry, and what are the challenges currently customers facing, and how they are solution provider. And so today we have with us Mr. Sushil Tyagi. He is the director of BusinessNext. And over to you, Mr. Tyagi. Would you please introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, thank you. I'm Sushil Tyagi. I work under the capacity of Executive Director with BusinessNext. I've been associated with the organization for last 15 years. So historically, we were born as a company. We wanted to solve one of the biggest problems for the banking industry around 15, 18 years back, which was largely a CRM, which is a customer relationship management, right, which was one of the weakest link in the banking industry at that point of time. And hence we were born as a company by the name of CRM Next. And why we called ourselves? Because we are next generation CRM, and we were solving the specifics of banking. And as we understand, banking IT landscape is one of the most complex landscape. And when you talk about the customer relationship as an engagement or an experience improvement, you would need a lot of data and integration which has to be stitched together to give you a real-time experience layer on front for the, let's say, sales team or a customer service team or a branch team. And that's what we solved, right? And we have been leaders in India for a very long time now. The 80% market share, 80% plus market share we still hold. So we have some of the very large customers. SDFC Bank is a pretty old relationship. State Bank of India, Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and so on and so forth. So we also have small and new age banks like Ujjivan, for that matter, Jana Finance, AU Finance, which were banks which were upcoming banks, and that's what we do. We are present across the globe. So globally we have close to 100 customers, which largely do banks and insurance. So we are in a BFSI Fintech space. And we renamed ourselves as BusinessNext few years back. And the reason why we did was that our offering portfolio has expanded a lot beyond just the CRM. And as the digital initiatives, both from the government of India and also the expectations of the customers, there was a very thin line between what you do in a CRM, what you do in a digital space, right? So from there on, we started providing front-end application where customers can do a lot of sales or a customer service without talking to anybody in the branch, which is a self-service piece. And that's where the customer next piece came in, right? And apart from that, we also then moved into the loan origination system. So today we do that also. So that's a lending next product. Since we were already with so many other portfolio offerings, we renamed ourselves as BusinessNext because we are solving a lot of problems of banking business layer, and hence a next generation business platform for the banks. Next stage we are today in is keeping in mind the AI is the next big word, right? So we introduced product called Data Next, which takes care of your generative, predictive AI capabilities, including the agentic piece of it. And this merger which is happening of the technology, and AI typically needs a lot of data, and where the data accuracy would create the real outcomes for the banks, right? So that's one of the challenges we are just solving. So apart from all this, so now AI is not a technology piece alone, right? It can't be just a technology-led projects. So what it needs is a lot of use cases around the various functions of the bank. So be it a customer experience layer, be it a origination piece or a digital layer, where intuitive.
Sir, my first question to you, would you like to share one live case study which you have been recently come across in the BusinessNext? and how was your experience with the customers? Would you like to share with us?
So live case study, there are various, but let me give you one of the latest which we have implemented in India and one maybe outside India, right? So Punjab National Bank is one of the latest implementation we have done. A very successful implementation. There's a grade, uh, feedback from a customer on that. Which basically, if you look at typically public sector banks are governed by a lot of regulatory compliances, right? One of them is by the government, RBI for that matter, has given a ease guidelines that how banks are supposed to execute these ease guidelines, which have been released by the RBI, and that's what we have complied to. And the RBI does audit of that, and we went around with the flying colors on that, whereby everything today at the front end, the bank's employee in the PNB do not need to log in into any other system to do any kind of activity. So if a customer walks into a branch or calls a call center or talks to a sales guy, everybody has the same picture, a real time of what the relationship view is and what you could do in terms of cross-sell, upsell, in terms of servicing and instantly. So what we have done is that we have reduced the SLAs drastically, both for the sales side or a customer service side of it. And we've also ensured that the regulatory compliance is 100%, right? And from there on, a lot of initiatives still carry on. So that's an expansion which was happening with the bank. The other customer which we have recently implemented is RHB, which is in Malaysia. That is our next big implementation happening in RHB. The Malaysian banks are getting into this stage now. They have been taking a lot of initiatives on that front. So we see that market coming up pretty well, apart from the RHB. And RHB also the same thing, where we have been able to solve, for example, a very, very most complex problem they were facing was they had a case categories of close to 2000, where any service agent would struggle to figure out when a customer talks about a particular issue, in which case category he puts in. And that's a cumbersome process. And we reduced it to 400 categories and combined it to an extent that it becomes very easy for him to manage and also at the speed. So that's another implementation. So as I said, this is what.
Is this the AI you you implement on these projects?
With both these projects, to some extent, yes. But if you ask me, is there a scope for more? Yes, there is a scope for more. We can do a lot more than what we have already done, right? And AI is, to be honest, AI is an evolving industry right now, right? So even at the customer end, they are also learning along with us on that piece. And as I said, AI needs a very, very mature data piece to get a right, accurate results. So the data becomes a key on that front to execute. So while we are doing certain components wherever there is a data, quality data available, yes, that piece has been solved. Wherever there is not, we are working with the banks to solve that piece also. And we are also helping in consulting them that how you execute this and what would it need to get good results and good ROI on whatever investments they are making.
Sure. My question to you, sir, is there any any book or movie recommendation for fintech startups or the people who are coming to this pursuing their businesses in movie recommendation, which is always we are always ask the guests in our shows.
I can't recollect anything immediately. Maybe I can figure it out and send it to you later, but I can't think right now anything on that. I have not yet seen a movie of that, but yes, there are a lot of books. But which will fit into your expectation, I think I'll have to think about it.
Anything you would like to add on it about your BusinessNext?
Yeah, so AI is though it's a buzzword, as I said, but and AI is one of the technologies which every month you will see something new, right? So hence there's a huge learning space for everyone, right? Be it my customers or be it us as a technology partner. So that's one piece. But what we see is the future is what AI will do going forward. So we don't have to see AI as one piece of technology, but what it will solve is that we are working towards an autonomous banking. So think of it like that when you talk about a self-driven car, right? There's no human intervention, and still you reach the destination without any fear or any concern, right? That's the next level of banking would happen, where hardly any human interventions would be required. So that's an autonomous banking for us.
And if you talk about the time frames, like generally it takes you a lot of time to implementations the services. How AI is reduce the work hours generally. Have you noticed?
Yeah, of course we have. Efficiency goes very high with AI implementation, right? Accuracy goes high, right? But having said that, I don't think so. AI would disrupt the people in between. There are certain functions which you still need human touch, human behavior, right, involved in it. But what AI would solve is all the mundane work which is repetitive in nature, right? Where you do not need a huge intelligence as such, right? It's more of a process oriented. That process orientation, human may not involve. So if you are able to solve an 80% of repetitive work, the productivity and efficiency will anyway go up. And what you will left with very, very typical cases, for example, of 20%, which you would need certain human interventions at times, right? But having said that, when we talk about autonomous, right, autonomous means everything should happen. But we do see this will mature in next 3 years' time towards autonomous banking, right? And a lot of discussions happen. Will people lose jobs? I don't think so. People will lose jobs as such. But yes, if you look back 20 years back, when the banking industry came with IT as a function, the same question was asked, right? How will jobs would be created on that? But the jobs still got created. So the human being has to move up the value chain in terms of his learning and his capabilities and abilities, right? And that's what would change. So you don't need to be doing a very repetitive work, but you have to do something more intelligent, and maybe people have to invest their own learning into AI and stuff like that. And that's what is the next value chain disruption which is happening.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Tyagi. It's been pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.
You just have to say, stay tuned with Business Club TV for more business insights.
You have to log in into the business.
Stay tuned with
Stay
Club TV
Stay tuned with the business club TV. Okay,
for more business insights.
for more business insights. You can stay tuned with the business club TV for more insights for business.
Thank you, sir.
This I'm not.
Okay, Acha, do me one favor, if we can, 13 minutes is